Okay. So I considered majoring in other options in college. I considered majoring in mathematics. I wanted to do social sciences for a minute. I got interested in acting, yeah, and stage. And just before we got our big break in August, I was actually music was supposed to be my backup. That was probably the second plan, you know. So we got that break in August. A group out of Memphis, Tennessee, called the Soul Children, asked us to be their backup band. So they uprooted us from Vallejo, California, and here we are just in our second year of junior college, and moved us to Memphis, Tennessee for 6 years, and to go out on the road with them, being their backup band. That was a huge musical education within itself. The moving to Memphis was, of course, a culture shock, but we got to meet some wonderful people. We got to be the backup band for Rufus Thomas at Watts Stax. We actually got to work at Stax Records for a while, being the studio musician in Studio C. So Memphis was a wonderful musical education.
Wow. So that's amazing, you know, and obviously what has been, I'm sure it's hard for you to answer this question, but what has been the most rewarding aspect of your career in music? If you can actually, tell us.
Okay. The simple answer is getting paid to do what I would gladly do for free. You know, that over the course of the last 50 years has been my joy, standing on stage and performing and entertaining the audience and my fans. That's my fun. People keep telling me that they've gotten married to my songs, that songs that I've written, recorded, or the soundtrack of their lives, and the thought that I've added to someone's happiness or contributed to their lives somehow is just an emotional thing that I absolutely, that's one of the things that keeps me going.
I can imagine. That's a great answer. I love what you've said there, because you're being truthful, and you're also, you know, just sharing that you love being part of, you know, people's, you know, the important areas of people's lives, and it must be, you know, amazing to know that you've been part of that for your fans and what have you.
Yes, I mean, there's, and I can relate to that because I'm still a big fan of other artists. You know, music has touched me in that same way. You know, there's certain songs that I can think of. I remember exactly where I was the first time I heard the song, or that song has a special meaning in my life. So I know exactly what they're talking about. And it's such a huge honor to be on the other side of that.
Awesome. So, I know that you've had a lot of people around you, people at different generations. And what has it been like for, you know, being around people, seeing someone like Bruno Mars, you know, sort of honouring you and respecting the amount, you know, the hard work that you've contributed to music? What has that been like for you?
Specifically Bruno Mars, you know, and like I said, I'm still a big fan of other artists, right? And I've been following Bruno. Let me go back a little bit. I wasn't aware of Anderson .Paak. Anderson. I'm sorry, my brother. Okay, I wasn't aware of him until a year ago, right?
Yeah.
But I've been following Bruno since he did what was his song, Grenade, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying, but I like this guy, right? I like what he's doing, you know, with his melodies. It's not just your average 4-chord thing that seems to be so popular nowadays. You know? And I liked his energy and stuff. So I've been I'll call it fan in the background of Bruno's ever since then.
Wow.
On February 14th, to find out that Bruno Mars has recorded one of my songs, I'm like, what? And to find out that someone that I'm a fan of is a fan of me, it's
Oh,
just like it's mind-boggling, and it's such a compliment. I still can't get over it. Still can't believe it. We had a chance to fly out to Las Vegas. Mike Michael Cooper, the other songwriter on Love Train, and I had a chance to fly out to Las Vegas to thank Silk Sonic in person for covering the song. They are the nicest guys. I mean, wonderful personalities. Very, very energetic, very personable. I love meeting them. I'm looking forward to. Let me put this out there: doing a collaboration. Are y'all listening to me? Okay. Collaboration. That would be great. But it's been wonderful. Some of the people that we were on tour with. For instance, one of our first major tours was the Commodores. When we were a top 40 band, we used to play a lot of Commodores material. So then to finally go on tour with them was like that was big for me. I mean, I'm still in my oh my God, I'm a fan.
Wow.
So,
No, that's amazing. And it's nice for you to be with, having people that you look to and think, oh, and then having people who look at you and think, wow, he's an icon and who wants to emulate you. And I want to talk about another artist that you've been involved with, MC Hammer. What was that like producing for him? I know you did quite a few songs and different things. What was that like?
That was a challenge, because at the point where I was asked to work with him, I did not appreciate rap. I was not a big fan, but I'm like, okay, well, I'm a producer. I can do this. I'm going to set how I feel about it aside and just get it done, right? And that wound up being probably the most significant 4 or 5 years of my life. So I did Hammer's first 3 major albums. Let's Get It Started, Please Hammer or Hurt 'Em, which featured You Can't Touch This and Pray, and then Too Legit to Quit. So I had a chance to work on all 3 albums, go out on tour as his music director. I think I went out and I played keyboards on one tour and I played guitar on another tour.
Wow.
Man, playing in front of, tens, hundreds of thousands of people, getting a chance to tour the world. Funny story. I got nominated for producing.
Yes, please share a story.
I got nominated for producing Record of the Year for Hammer, Please Don't Hurt 'Em, right? And so I was all excited. I'm like, oh man, I'm just overjoyed. This is so exciting. And then I found out who else was nominated. Quincy Jones. I'm like, oh man.
Wow.
I'm like, no. Anybody but him.
Oh.
And yeah, I lost to Quincy Jones, but
That
hey,
was a nice thing though. Sure, yeah. Wow.
But if you got to lose to somebody, Quincy's the man. So
But that's amazing that you got nominated. Well done. Yeah. Oh. Wow. So that was quite a. You said that 4 or 5 years. That was a really. What would you say? What made it that for you? Those 5 years with MC Hammer. Would you say?
The success was, I would say, a challenge to deal with. You Can't Touch This was on the charts for like 2 months at number 1.
Yeah.
And all the things that came along with it. The money, the fame. I'll admit it was overwhelming. Thank God I'm not into drugs or like that. But just the experiences of being on that level was eye-opening. nice learning experience of how the business operates at that kind of level. Con Funk Shun was lucky to have, we were blessed with 4 gold albums and a platinum, right? But then we get with Hammer and we sold over 50 million records. So that's a whole nother level of that. Huge, mind-boggling when you think about it. But that was that whole touring thing and working on multiple albums, all the acts that he had signed that I was getting a chance to get in and write for and produce. It was exciting.
Wonderful. Thank you for that answer. And I mean, this is going to be quite hard for you to answer, but you do music. The music's your life. You have been doing music for however long, and that's been your income. But what would you do? What else would you do? Say you couldn't do music. Say something happened, you couldn't do music, and you had to pick something. I know, I'm so sorry. I know. Just imagine. We're going to go back, but just imagine. What else? What else would you do? Do you think? What else is there that really makes your soul sing?
I would have done theater. I would have done acting. I was taking drama and directing classes in junior college, and that would have been my thing. That would have been it.
Wow. Do you do anything in that sort of genre at the moment? Do you do anything? Is there, or would you do anything?
I would love to. I would love to. I'm working with a production company out of Florida, developing a couple of movies and TV shows, and I'm responsible for the soundtrack. So I've already started writing the soundtrack for those, and the president of the company asked me would I be interested in perhaps doing one of the roles in one of the movies. I'm like, yeah.
I could see you in a movie. Seriously, I could.
Yeah. Wow. I'd love to do it. I'm waiting for my shot.
I'm sure you're going to do really well. So, so you've answered. That's a really difficult question, but now you're back. You don't have to worry. You are doing it. Now, I want to ask you, what changes have you witnessed in the music industry? And can you share whether it's good or bad, or, what do you think about any changes you've seen over the years? Has it been for the better or the worse, or would you say, you like the journey that music has taken?
Okay.
I know, it's another hard question.
No, I got this. Technology has worked very well for me, right? Technology that we didn't have available to us when we were doing our first albums. The advent of the drum machine was a huge step forward for me. Drummers out there listening, forgive me, but that just made it faster to get a record done. I can remember times where we would the length of time taken to get the drum set loaded in and tuned up, and we would spend whenever we would go and record the album, we would spend the first 4 to 6 hours just setting up.
Wow.
The drum kit.
Wow.
When drum machines came in, just speaking for me, I plug it in, push play, record. Okay, drum part's been recorded. 5 minutes later, now let's lay down the music.
Made a big difference, yeah.
And then all the technology that happened after that, the advent of MIDI, and being able to play your parts into a computer and manipulate them there, that for creative people, that became a blessing, right? To be able to record all the parts myself, take what I played on piano and assign that to whatever sound I want. it's made it very efficient to get ideas from here
To
here,
yeah, yeah.
from here to here, right? Technology, now that's the good news. Technology has also made, in my humble opinion, mediocrity the norm, right? There's been a lot of music that sounds mostly the same, because when the creative process is made easier for you, for some people, then there might be the tendency to take shortcuts, and the idea, and then the concept of using technology as a replacement for talent.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. So that's been I'll say a mental issue for me, and I watch happening. But then we have I got to go back to Bruno Mars, who has the advantage of using that same technology that I'm talking about, but it comes off as fresh. It's not just your average thing. And there's a lot of artists, young artists, that I've been paying attention to. Neo is a fan, who use this technology to enhance the creativity. I admire that.
So it sounds like you would say, all in all, it's not been a bad thing. You feel music has been okay. You're happy with, for the most part.
Yes.
Is there anything you would bring back from the past that you feel is not with us today? Is there anything that you'd say, yeah, I'm happy, but if only we had this or that, as we did back in, is there anything? Maybe. I just thought I'd just check.
I understand that this is the music business, right? And it's called the music business.
Yes.
For a reason, right? It's not the music party. It's not the music.
Yeah.
It's the music. It's the music business. And record companies are all about the business. How many dollars is this going to generate? How many spins is this going to generate? And there seems to be less focus from the record company's point of view on the actual talent of the artist.
Yep.
And the developing of the talent. And Motown was a great example of that. They would take an artist who already had talent, and they would mold it, and they would But now let's send you over to the choreography. They would work with the artist on the craft, and it wasn't all about just about how much money we're bringing in. Let's develop the artist to what the best artists can be. I need to go back to the technology thing. Nowadays, with today's technology, a lot of artists do that for themselves, and it makes it easier for anyone to do that for themselves. And it seems to me that record companies no longer have to put in that time and effort in developing the artists. They're waiting for the artists who are already developed themselves.
Wow.
Themselves to the record company.
That sort of really works with my next question that I'm going to ask you. Is independent artists. So many more people are going that way. What's your thoughts on that, based on, versus the big labels? What do you think about a lot of artists wanting to go their own way and do things in a different way?
Okay. Simple answer. The competition is stiff out there.
Wow.
I mean, let me go back to the technology thing. The fact this conversation is taking place on my phone. Okay.
Oh, and yeah. on my laptop.
Anyone who has a cell phone basically has a recording studio in the palm of their hand.
So true.
It has literally come to that, right? And people don't have to say, oh, we'll have to wait to save money so I can go to the studio. No, you don't. If you can call me, you can make a recording. Okay, you know. So at that point, now that there is that ability, it is not difficult to become an independent artist.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. The hardest thing is learning how to separate yourself from the million other.
Okay. Yeah, you've got to stand. Yeah.
Right. So so once you've gotten past the fact that you have some good music, you know, then there's that issue of how to get it to the public. You know, that music, that big music industry, that music business issue of separating yourself from the huge number of independent artists and how to, you know, get your stuff promoted. You know, it's
and that's what I want to ask you. What tips would you give someone? So somebody could be watching this who is a budding, you know, musician, and they're listening to you and know that you're an iconic figure. What would you say to them if they're trying to go down the independent road? What should they try and do to stand out, would you say?
I'm still learning. I mean, that's a hard one. It really is. And I have to be honest with you, I don't have the answer to that. You know,
you think that's really difficult for people? People just, would you say it's more than just being themselves, or
absolutely. It is way beyond just being yourself. It is way beyond just you being talented. It really is. That big word is the music business. You really have to swim through those music business waters rigorously. You know, there's it's hard. And again, I don't have the answers. Like I'm still learning myself at my age. You know, all that stuff I'm learning.
You've done it. They want to be where you are. They want to, you know, they want to be able to do what you've done and do. And obviously, I'm going to ask you about the new projects that I know you're involved in as well, different things that you're doing now and that. But you would say it's not the easiest. So when we see somebody who's an independent artist and they've met you, you know that it's not been easy for them. And would you say it's more difficult going down that road than being discovered? Would you say it's a lot harder? Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
Okay. Well, being an independent artist is relatively easy. That part is easy.
But to be,
you know, to be
noticed.
The independent artist that gets picked up by major label. Well, you know, hey, let's go buy some lottery tickets. You know, that if you've got that way of generating fans, of generating, you know, to some degree, this ties into social media and some record companies just,
right.
You know,
yes,
you know, and they are, some record companies are less interested in how talented you are than how many followers that you have.
Wow, yeah.
You know,
that makes sense. Yes. Oh my goodness. Because they see it as instant profit. Yes. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Woo, that was a big question.
Yeah.
I got a question that it might be easier, but who influenced you in music? Was it?
Whoa.
Yeah. Who were the influences for you?
At an early age, it was my mother. When I first started my my first band at 16, I was immediately influenced by every new song that we learned became an influence.
Wow.
Every time we learned a song by James Brown or by Chicago, right? That everything that we had to, or Santana, everything that we had to do to learn their songs became part of me. Right?
Right. Yeah. Wow.
There was a time, I'm calling it one name in particular, when Con Funk Shun, Project Soul first moved to Memphis. At one point, we only had 3 records in the house. We had one record was the Soul Children. We were, that was the people who brought us there in the first place. So we had to learn their material, right? Mm-hmm. And the only other 2 records in the house were that Spinners LP and that first Stylistics record, right? Both of which were produced by Tom Bell. I listened to those 2 records. That's the only music I heard for months. I was at the point where I could easily tell you not only the lyrics for every song and the key for every song and the chords for every song. I could have told you the horn arrangement and the string arrangements, probably how many guitars he used on the recording. I mean that, and I'll just shout out just the one name for now. Tom Bell was a huge influence on me and his arranging and writing skills, with his writing with Linda Creed and the other people he was writing and producing with. But I'll start with that. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. So
Wow. So quite a few people, but your lovely mum would be at the top of that list from the sound of it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
Bless. So I want to ask you now, I've seen some photos, lovely photos of you at the weekend with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who are both producers like yourself. Can you share some snippets of what that conversation was like?
My wife was telling me we had just finished doing a concert in Los Angeles last weekend. We were on the show with Zap, Cameo, Midnight Star, the SOS Band, and Club Nouveau, right? So I was talking to a gentleman down the hall, and Jennifer came up to me. Felton, I need to talk to you for a minute. And I'm like, hold on, not now. I'm in the middle of a conversation with someone, so she went back away. And she came back, and again, she was really persistent, and she said, "Jimmy Jam wants to meet you."
Wow.
And I told the guy to hold on, dude, I'll be back. So I immediately broke off the conversation. And it turns out, she told me later that she had run into him in the hallway. And apparently he said, "Oh, Felton Pilate is here. I would really love to meet him." Okay, now Jimmy Jam is on that list of people that I'm a fan of, right? So I'm like, "Oh man, yes, yeah, of course."
Yes.
And so part of our conversation was about how we've been each other's fans since since I first started following them. Of course, they produced the SOS Band. And that's when I first became, other than being as part of Morris Day at the time, that's when I started really paying attention to them. when they did Just Be Good to Me for the SOS Band. And I've been, paying attention, and they went on and did Janet Jackson. And then New Edition, and I have just been dialed. So for me, I was very, very excited about that. A friend of mine reminded me. He said, "Oh, wait a minute, Felton, you've actually met him before. You guys met each other when you were out on the Hammer tour. And he came in the dressing room with Hammer, and you guys met then." And I'm like, well, neither one of us remember it, so it doesn't count.
Wow. But this is so you got this special moment again.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Wow, Mr. Fenton. Oh, wow, this has been amazing. I have got one more question to ask you, and it's really about what projects are you involved in now? What do you want to tell us about? Where should, what should we be following, and where can we find you? Where are you going? Yes, everything.
Let, let me move into next year and work backwards.
And work backwards, yes.
Con Funk Shun is hoping to release an album the first quarter of 2023. We've
Oh,
already been writing the songs. I've got a couple of songs we've already picked out as first singles, so
fantastic.
that's already in the works. Uh, this Christmas, we're going to put out Con Funk Shun's first Christmas CD.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Okay.
we actually started working on that last year and put out a single. Our first Christmas single, it was called A Christmas Kind of Day, and an original song. So we are in the studio working to finish that up to get that ready for Christmas. So we put the other album on hold while we concentrate on getting that done.
Yeah.
I'm working on my second solo CD, and just released a single a couple of days ago, a brand new single called "Here's What I Do for You," which I would call a tribute
Wonderful.
to the old school songs
Oh,
that
yeah.
we love, right? To the tribute to the people. If people listen to it carefully, they can probably hear the influences that Tom Bell had on me. And if you like the stylistics, if you like the Delphonics, if you like leave your door open, this song will certainly belong on your playlist. Hoping people listen and fall in love with it. And love is the thing for me.
Actually, with you saying that, I just want to ask you, what do you think about, do you feel there's a lack of love songs these days, or what are your thoughts? Do you think do you think it's just different?
It seems rare. It seems rare to me. That love songs seem to rise to the top of the charts. At this point, I'm gonna challenge you. Tell me three love songs at the top of the chart right now.
I would be a little bit pushed.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's kind of my point. As opposed to
back in the day, it would be one after the other, after the other, after the other. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. So that goes back to a question you asked earlier. What would I bring back? That's what I would bring back.
And that's what you're doing by doing what you're doing. You are bringing all that.
I would love to be responsible for bringing all that back. Yeah, okay, that would be great. But this is just me expressing what I normally express. When I sit down at the piano, it's some pretty chords and expressing love, expressing honor and devotion and appreciation.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, I am so big into personal development and all these wonderful things, and listening to you have really inspired me, and everyone who's watching this, and everyone who's going to watch it outside of this and hear it on the podcast. Can you share, I don't know whether it's, wisdom, anything that has what's guided you to be the icon that you are, and to continue doing all the wonderful things you are doing? What would you say to anybody who have a dream but maybe they're not sure that they can make it happen? They're thinking, it's great, Mr. Felton Pilate has done what he's doing, very nice, but I don't think I can do what what words of wisdom would you share with our listening and visual audience today?
Uh, I, I know this is not an exact quote, and I don't remember who said it, but whether or not you think you can or think that you can't, you're
Yeah,
right.
you're right. Yeah, yeah. That's
You
a
know,
good, yeah, that's a good one.
there's there is no reason to doubt yourself. Let that be someone else's job. You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
uh, don't let self-doubt stop you from doing what you want to do, or feel like you're in, what's in your heart or in your mind to do. Um, I have to honestly tell you, there was a guy who told me when I was 16. He said, Felton, if I were you, I would stick to playing guitar because you'll never ever make it as a singer.
God, he got that wrong, didn't he?
Which is why I started my first band. I quit
You wanted
that
to prove, yes.
immediately because I was not going to take what he thought of me be
Mm.
my belief of me, right?
Wow. Wow.
And I need to thank him again for
So,
I need to thank him again for telling me that, because had he not told me that, you and I would not be sitting here talking right now. I would have stuck with him and
awesome.
not chase my own
You know what I love about what you just said? You know, so many people are on social media and they have the struggles with the haters and the critics. So you're actually saying, you know, use them to your advantage. Use
Yeah,
use the haters and the critics and the people who's going to say you can't do something. Use them to drive yourself, is what I'm hearing you say. I love
absolutely,
that. They
absolutely.
have their purpose.
Right, right.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, wow.
The word no, in terms of music business, doesn't mean that you're not good.
Mm,
It means in terms of business that maybe you're not what they're looking for right now.
right now, yes.
But that's just them.
There's
This
a
could
whole,
work.
yes.
Right.
So don't get caught up in that narrow, somebody just saying no. You don't know why they're saying no. And
Right.
there's a lot of yeses behind or, you know, over there. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Oh my goodness. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up this amazing conversation with you? I
I
want
am
to leave the
so
last word with you.
I am so grateful and honored just to be here in general. I've had an amazing journey um, throughout all my life,
Wonderful.
and I'm very thankful to people who have been supportive, and the people who have allowed me to be a part of their lives. That's big for me, and I really appreciate it, and I'm honored and grateful, and I just want to say thank you.